As always, it's great to have you back at Coin Lady channel, where we'll be giving you the lowdown on all the exciting new developments in the XRP universe. We just had a major new lawsuit brought against us by the SEC dropped. In this video, we will go over the details of that lawsuit and the impact they may have on the Bitcoin market in the future. It looks like the SEC's going after Ethereum in particular, so this breakdown of the SEC's strategies is important to read. I also want to take a few minutes at the end of the film to discuss some of the reasons why Bitcoin's security may not be as guaranteed as many people assume. Check out this fascinating theory I've been hearing about, and let me clarify why XRP could benefit greatly if Bitcoin has problems. Since it appears the SEC will go after Robinhood, I'd like to start by addressing their most recent case. Amazingly, the SEC is employing a novel approach. I think we can all agree that despite listing 18 different cryptocurrencies including Bitcoin, Ethereum, ADA, Doge, Solana, and a few others, Robinhood's primary function is not as a cryptocurrency exchange. This is very intriguing because at the present time the SEC would be taking a huge risk, and Robinhood is well known for listing the main cryptocurrencies on the market. Staking seems to be a standard practice among the other markets that the SEC has previously targeted, which is a very interesting development. The most recent case we saw against Kraken, which I detailed in great length on this channel, was widely regarded as exceptional, as Kraken was actively marketing a product that may have been illegal under securities regulations, a point widely acknowledged in the cryptocurrency community. Rather than just offering staking rewards, they were doing something much more substantial for their customers. In order to boost their customers' returns, they lent out their assets. The SEC's current approach to Robinhood is unknown at this time. In contrast, Robinhood does not engage in the business of land lending. Therefore, it looks that the SEC may sue Robinhood for the funds. Possible clandestine SEC effort to convey information to Robinhood. In effect, you have declared these 18 cryptocurrencies to be unlawful securities by paying the fine for listing them as such without having to go after each project separately. Robinhood's access to a substantial quantity of Ethereum is also noteworthy. For example, as Jeremy Hogan mentioned, is the SEC making its first effort to classify Ethereum as an unregulated security? It's possible, but as I mentioned before, all we have is a demand for Robinhood's SEC filings. Since Robinhood does not enable holding, it is unclear what is being attempted here. In my opinion, these 18 cryptocurrencies are the intended objective. It seems like a more targeted approach for the currencies themselves, but we'll have to see how things pan out. Now, one reason I think the SEC is going after Ethereum in particular is that the SEC has lately retracted guidance it issued in 2018. By now, I think we can all agree that it's common knowledge that the SEC has stated publicly that it does not consider a theory to be a security. Attorney Fred, whose cases are commonly featured on this channel, has just filed a new one against the SEC. However, if the SEC is firm on this point, there will be no backtracking. Fred, the counsel, says the SEC doesn't go far enough in explaining Ethereum. The SEC has declined to provide sufficient clarification regarding Ethereum, he claims, despite his firm's use of a theory. The fact that this case has already begun and the SEC has done nothing but attempt to dismiss it is fascinating because, while they did dismiss the case based on Huddle Law's own allegation, it is clear from their dismissal that the SEC hasn't made up its mind regarding the Ethereum network or Ether. As such, the SEC has made a declaration directly on this topic, changing its mind about Ethereum as recommended before. This has been common knowledge in the XRP ecosystem for quite some time. After being required to compare XRP to Ethereum early on in the Ripple SEC case, the SEC quickly started withdrawing its previous recommendation on Ethereum. The SEC was hopeless, so you should focus on explaining why XRP is an asset while Ethereum isn't. All necessary purposes are unmistakably and plainly met. Neither Ethereum nor XRP can be considered a currency because they are both assets. After realizing this would hurt their case, the SEC has now denied the directive and claimed it was a question of opinion. A lot of Max's theorists just shrugged and said, well, the SEC is only making this statement for this case specifically and isn't actually going to pull back their prior instructions on them to the general public, and that's pretty much how they felt about it. They think the SEC would stick to its prior pronouncements and insist that a theory is not a security despite what it said in this specific case. However, it is now abundantly obvious that the SEC is reversing its previous advice regarding Ethereum, and that this action would only be carried out if the SEC planned to pursue Ethereum in the future. The SEC's planned Ethereum pursuit intensity is currently unknown. We don't know if they'll try to destroy the base. We do not know if they will seek consensus or if they will target people like Robinhood and say, "Hey, Robinhood, you stated a concept that we believe to be illegal and are attempting to get recognized as such." It remains to be seen how this situation evolves. But at this time, it appears that Bitcoin is the only currency that is safe from the SEC. For any digital money to achieve the same level of prominence as Bitcoin, there needs to be a legal battle. The SEC's claim that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that isn't a security continues crumbling, which is one of the many reasons why it is so stupid. A major argument for why the SEC considers Bitcoin and all other cryptocurrencies to be securities is about to be unveiled. Since Satoshi fled into hiding at such a young age, few people even know who she is, making this claim seem absurd. Bitcoin is not considered an asset by the SEC. There are a few issues here, unfortunately. But before I go into that, I'll just say that the likelihood that she reveals she is known to a government agency increases daily. Liz HQ played me this interview early today, and since it's fairly lengthy, I won't bother playing it for you. Despite this, they have a webcast that serves as a de facto intelligence committee meeting. Moreover, she all but suggests that at least one government official is in the dark about Satoshi. So, she comes clean and says that her name isn't as secret as most people think it is. And if we do find out who Satoshi is, it could cast doubt on the SEC's position that Bitcoin is not an asset because no one knows who he or she is. And it seems that he is already known to some in our administration. What this means is that Bitcoin is equivalent to any other cryptocurrency. Since the identities of the people who created Bitcoin and the people who will create XRP are already public knowledge, Bitcoin can't exist in a way that makes it separate from XRP. These two concepts should be synonymous. In my opinion, Bitcoin does not belong in the same category as Ripple and other securities. Similar to how one could say that Ripple's early XRP sales were in fact securities transactions, I think Bitcoin should be treated as a commodity. Ethereum's early sales could be argued to be securities transactions due to their similarities to the original sale of Bitcoin. If Satoshi ever chooses to sell the original Bitcoin, it could be argued that the asset is a security. However, it is impossible to classify the asset as a security, and it is also pointless to try to establish standards between the various assets and label them accordingly. They are also quite similar to one another. Considering how independent each cryptocurrency is, it is not the government's place to speculate on which will thrive and which will fail. Understanding that Bitcoin would lose much of its appeal if we did learn who Satoshi is essential. These days, not knowing who Satoshi is one of the major attractions of Bitcoin for its fans. It's ironic that Bitcoin enthusiasts love the cryptocurrency despite not knowing who Satoshi is. Many people believe that Bitcoin's freedom would be compromised if it were possible to determine who Satoshi really is. This will eventually lead to an end of the myth that Bitcoin is better to all other cryptocurrencies, and instead lead to fair comparisons between them based on objective criteria such as XRP faster transaction times, greater efficiency, and potential decentralization. And when it becomes widely known that each and every cryptocurrency was developed by an individual, Bitcoin will immediately lose its status as the gold standard. Eventually, everyone will realize my reasoning. XRP has been called the most tactical coin in the world by a former US Treasury Secretary. Where was our foresight that XRP would be used to disrupt the existing banking system? When looking back on the era in which we are living, I think people will ponder that issue. It's inevitable, in my view. So, thanks a ton for coming today, folks. I trust you enjoyed this status report. If you did, please leave a like and follow. See you later, bye.